From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on your MTN statewide news on this Friday. I'm Andrea Lutz. New at noon, outgoing President Donald Trump says he won't attend Joe Biden's inauguration on January 20th. This comes as Trump faces an uncertain final stretch in office. Traditionally, outgoing presidents host presidents-elect at the White House prior to that formal transitioning of power ceremony. The announcement comes after violence and high tensions during the current transition of power. However, the president is not acknowledging defeat, or he is now acknowledging defeat, I should say, in the 2020 election. Also coming out strongly against the Capitol storming. Lawmakers this week, though, have tossed around renewed calls for the president to be impeached. Despite a contentious election season, Missoula County says local voters are confident in the outcome of the election. According to a survey by the University of Montana, 89% strongly agreed Missoula County is free of voter fraud. 80% said they're confident the November election results are accurate. 79% say they're confident in the vote by mail process. And 90% believe the elections office delivered the election better than in years past.
There is a lot of challenges to our democracy, but it also shows that the folks that are responsible, the gatekeepers of elections administration, like our elections office, are really at the forefront to safeguarding our democracy, and Missoulians see that and really respect the work that they do on the front line.
Well, Montana started paying an additional $300 to those unemployment and impacted benefits, those impacted by the pandemic. The increased benefits come from the passage of a recent federal stimulus bill. The new program launched Tuesday with $3.2 million in payments already made, and they are available for pandemic unemployment assistance and the pandemic emergency unemployment compensation. Today, a state legislative committee will hear a bill to limit liability in Montana for damages related to COVID-19 exposure. The bill says if your business complies with COVID-19 health guidelines, you won't be held liable for potential exposure to the disease. It also says people can't claim damages for exposure to COVID-19 unless it involves hospitalization, death, or gross negligence by someone else. Bozeman Health is able to vaccinate additional first responders in the community after allotting more COVID-19 vaccine than originally planned. Health officials say they can get an additional 250 doses out of shipments they've already received because there's more product in them. This allows for more vaccines to go to those in the 1A phase.
Historically, they have an overfill, and what that overfill allows for is a certain degree of waste when you're drawing up the product. It also is in case some spills or there's an issue, you have a little bit of additional vaccine in the vial.
Bozeman Health already vaccinated roughly 1,800 employees with that first dose. All right, turning now to the weather. It is Friday, and of course, Miller Robson's in to tell us how our weekend's going to shape up.
Well, I'd like to show you some graphics right now, but the computer absolutely just isn't even showing up. It died on me. Let's see, do we have anything? Well, okay, there we go. Whoo, my goodness, somebody's smiling on me. Let's go ahead and take some shots of what the temperatures are out there right now. Here we go. You gotta love technology, Andrea. We've got temperatures mainly in the 30s. We do have some 40s and some 20s as well. Let's take a look at our Doppler radar. We do have at least some light rain in Billings. Also, a little rain-snow mix over near Lame Deer, and some snow just southeast of Miles City as well. Speaking of snow, just some accumulations that we've got reports of already from earlier today near Bozeman, 5 inches, Rygate, 4 inches, as well as Story. Wyoming at 4 inches. Big Sky got 2 inches, and Colstrip at 2. And this is a great shot coming in from Bev, who caught this little fellow resting in the snow north of Park City. What a pretty picture right there. That should be it in terms of snow for most of the area. Maybe eastern parts of Montana still a shot, but for the most part, the weekend's looking pretty good. We'll take a look coming up.
And we will take a look with your graphics going. Okay, thanks, Miller, for that. More information this afternoon as details are coming out surrounding an officer-involved shooting where a man was reportedly acting erratically in the middle of a Dillon Street. Well, police say the 32-year-old was in the middle of the street yelling and screaming at cars, forcing them to swerve around him. Officers then traced the suspect back to a home where he opened the door with a gun in his waistband. Officers say an altercation ended with shots fired and the suspect was airlifted to a hospital where he's being treated for his injuries. Governor Greg Gianforte says his new state budget means tax relief for Montanans and businesses. He wants to cut $100 million out of the budget and reduce the income rate paid by half of Montana taxpayers from 6.9% to 6.75%. Gianforte wants to also put spending into increasing teacher pay, and he's setting aside money to attack the drug addiction problem in Montana.
Few Montanans have been left untouched by the epidemic of addiction and drug use. The crisis is ripping apart our families and our communities. Our budget commits an additional $23.5 million in state and federal dollars per year.
The legislature must now review and decide on the governor's budget, of course. A Kyla boy continues to fight for his life from a rare condition that prevents the body from producing blood cells. But there could be hope for 9-year-old Maverick Bench. MTN's Sean Wells tells us how the family is making a plea for help.
We just need them to come through one more time. Just one more time. Any calls, any emails, any contacts they can make to get us this drug.
Maverick's parents put out a plea to Maverick's Army on Facebook Wednesday, asking them to reach out to the drug company that has a potentially life-saving drug for Maverick's condition. Since Maverick's second bone marrow transplant in November, he has undergone a number of hardships, including contracting adenovirus, a group of common viruses, which is causing havoc on his body due to a non-existent immune system from his second bone marrow transplant and heavy doses of chemotherapy.
He's had adenovirus for several weeks now. And we've tried a couple different treatments and they failed, and the adenovirus has gotten to the point where it is extremely out of control. Parts of his body are starting to shut down.
Colleen says her family and team of doctors are asking the drug manufacturing company Chimerex for a compassionate use approval of the drug brincidofovir for Maverick. They believe this drug could buy the necessary time Maverick's immune system badly needs to heal and survive.
So his body has no way to fight this infection on its own. Here in a few months, when his immune system redevelops, it would be able to. So we need a drug to bridge that gap and buy us some time.
In a Facebook post Thursday afternoon, Maverick's family said they have been in contact with the drug manufacturer Chimerex and are working with Maverick's doctors toward a treatment plan. In Flathead County, Sean Wells, MTN News.
So Maverick's out of state right now, battling for his life. Of course, we'll keep you updated on that progress. And the Children's Museum of Montana needs your help to move into its new building. The museum plans to move from its current location next to the Great Falls City Hall to the Pacific Steel building on 3rd Street Northwest when their lease expires. They want to purchase the building, and the museum needs $3.9 million to do so. So a capital campaign is underway to raise that money. About $30,000 has been raised so far. Hopefully they can do it. We do have more ahead on the new news on this Friday, including this. We're checking back in with Montana breweries on just how much money they'll get kicked back after the stimulus bill put forward a tax break. But first, Miller Robson's back in with a look at that statewide weather forecast.